Ever wonder what goes on behind the scenes? On Patreon, you'll find director commentary, early listens, ad-free episodes, and an inside look at how Chartrulean is being brought to life with Unreal Engine. Join us at patreon.com/Chartrulean today.
For the record, Dr. Zavriel Fillionus, and this is responding to a letter inquiring about my pursuit of Rankusha. My response follows. I preface this by saying much of Rankusha's story is conjecture, the result of an attempted erasure, but some legacies are too vast to eradicate, even if records remain scarce and unreliable. I did not begin my career as an archaeologist. My fascination began as a student of medicine at Bethema Labs. Like most young people governed by an insatiable curiosity, I found myself in a forbidden vault. Among the horrifying atrocities I found there was the fresco of a woman with blue flames erupting from black voids where her eyes should have been. Later, I learned that the painting depicted the fall of Rankusha, an Etruvian who lived long before Chartrulean or his predecessor, Artademus. Her life ended, tragically, a millennium ago, but her legacy haunts us to this day. Rankusha's home was Zoroaster, a city named for the sleeping volcano upon which it was built. Deep underground, infernal machines drew power from molten rock, enabling industrialization. Rankusha was a fearless innovator who used that energy to fuel her inventions. In fact, some might be surprised to learn that Chartrulean was not the first to harness Azuria through science. Evidence suggests Azuria was central to Rankusha's influence, elevating her to queen. Unlike today, it was costly to generate and difficult to harness, yet it was the most valuable commodity of its time. However, its use created an ideological rift, with some believing it antithetical to what the Star Makers had preached. But the impact Azuria made on the world quieted the dissenters, who waited to see what their queen would do. Rankusha's husband, King Savrin, was a young fool, jealous of the adoration she received and bitter over their childlessness due to an illness she conceived instead. He took a mistress, Erigone, who bore him a child and sought to rival the queen. Savrin's resentment and Erigone's religious ideology were a dangerous combination. They conspired against Rankusha, spreading rumors and falsehoods to tarnish her reputation, painting her as ruthless and power-hungry. During this time, Rankusha withdrew into isolation, fueling further rumors. In her absence, entrusted allies abused their power, overdriving the infernal machines to make more Azuria. The world suffered polluted waterways and unbreathable air as a result. People looked for their once wise and capable queen and couldn't find her. Their people needed someone to blame. Erigone used the chaos to eliminate Rankusha and Azuria for good. On the day of the epoch, Erigone had Rankusha forced out of isolation. Before an angry mob, she stripped and humiliated Rankusha before plunging the blade of a knife into her heart. Rankusha's blood was still warm when the earth began to quake. Rock and ash bore down upon the city, demolishing the greater part of it in the blink of an eye. Survivors, led by Erigone, evacuated and took refuge in Idrica. Taking Rankusha's life was apparently not enough. Erigone wasted no time gathering any documentation about Rankusha from the seminary and burned it. All that remained was a journal given to the mystic saints for safekeeping by someone faithful to Rankusha. Gone was the inventor, the tactician, the genius. And all we were left with was the ruined woman, driven mad by her obsession with power. The eruption of Mount Zoroaster plunged the world into a long winter few would survive, and we would never fully recover in more ways than one. Now, ecological disasters aside, here's where I have a problem with these accounts. There's a large piece missing. Records preserved by Kazalu reveal Rankusha's final invention, the Essenthrall, a machine that could extract and immortalize a person's consciousness as a digital record. In her final days, Rankusha was fighting to preserve her mind. She was not mad. She was dying. And in the end, she was denied dignity or sympathy. She was a mind divided. The genius had been catalogued away, and by the time of her execution, only her most primordial self remained. And she died a death so horrible that her sorrow will forever be imprinted upon our world. This hypothesis is what I had hoped to prove. My goal was never to revise history, but to allow the world to become untrapped by it. I cannot pretend to know the future, nor can I say if the past leaned closer to ruination or illumination. Such things depend on who holds control. To answer your question about why I pursued this story, I did not want to walk backward through this world, mistaking the past for the future. I sought light at the end of a long, dark tunnel, and to find it, I needed the truth. The question you really should be asking is whether or not I was satisfied with what I found. If I'm honest, I'm hesitant to say, but I leave you with this unsolicited advice. Do not bury yourself so deeply in the past. It is not the past that determines the future, but the present. There. Make of all that what you will.
Hey, before you click away, Chartrulean creator H.M. Radcliff here, and I just have a short promo. I promise it'll be great. But before I get into it, I just wanted to thank you for tuning into Volume 2 so far. I really hope you like where the show is going, and I also hope you'll consider becoming a patron, so that way you can hear the next episode, which we're working very hard on behind the scenes, before anybody else. But in the meantime, I wanted to make sure that you know that there are many more great independent shows on the Fable and Folly Fiction Podcast Network. And this episode is supported by The 100-Handed, which is a serialized urban fantasy horror podcast that follows the exploits of a tattooed magician, very important detail, and his werewolf partner as they combat the forces of darkness in modern-day, you guessed it, Texas. The 100-Handed is in their final stretch, and I invite fans of the Dresden Files, The Witcher, and The Men in Black to go check it out. You can learn more about the show at radiomadhouse.com, or you can just check out this trailer right here.
Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer.
Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world.
The blood-dimmed tide is loosed.
And everywhere, the ceremony of innocence is drowned.
911, what's your emergency?
The best lack all conviction,
While the worst are full of passionate intensity.
Surely some revelation is at hand.
Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming.
Hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight.
Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape with lion body, and the head of a man, a gaze blank, impetuous as the sun,
Catherine, don't!
is moving its slow thighs, while all about it, real shadows of the indignant desert birds.
The darkness drops again. But now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last,
Slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. What happens if we fail?
hell on earth.
The 100-Handed is an urban fantasy fiction podcast. Season 3 is out now, wherever you get your podcasts.
The most memorable gifts aren't found, they're made. Zazzle is a custom marketplace where you pick any product, a mug, a card, a tote, a phone case, and make it personal. A photo, a name, an inside joke. The kind of gift that actually fits the person. That's what 30 million customers have been coming back to Zazzle for over 20 years to find. Right now, save 25% on your first order at Zazzle.com. That's Zazzle.com. Make it zamazing.